Hey, Living Hope, thank you so much for joining us for our Passion Week series. My name is Ervin. I'm the youth pastor here, and I want to share a story with you to get us started. In 7th grade, I moved to Maryland and started at a brand new middle school. And by the time I hit 8th grade, I finally felt like I had everything under my belt. I understood the school, I understood the culture, I had established myself, I knew who I was because I was a cool 8th grader who was super mature. And as I walked through the school doors on the first day of school, it didn't even take me 5 steps before I got in that someone came up to me and be like, "Oh my gosh, Irv, is that your little brother? Dude, he looks just like you. He's a mini version of you." And I looked behind me and I was just disappointed. And from that moment on, I decided that I was going to ditch my brother, try not to be associated with him at all, so that I could keep everything that I spent the past year building up. I didn't want to lose any of it. I didn't want to lose my popularity, my status, the foundation I had built, and I didn't want my brother to come in and just steamroll everything by accident because he didn't know the rules of the game. And what I love about the Bible and reading the Bible is that I can find my story in God's story. You see, during our Passion Week series, we're actually looking at Peter's story today. And for those of us who have grown up in church and heard all the Bible studies, we know that in Jesus' final moments before he gets to the cross, Peter denies him 3 times. Peter, one of his closest disciples, one of his inner 3, would deny his teacher and his Savior in front of everyone. And what I found to be really interesting in John chapter 18 was in Peter's 3rd denial, his last denial, he was asked a really important question. And this question was, "Didn't I see you in the garden with Jesus?" And Peter would then respond, "Absolutely not, no way, I don't know who he is." But you see, what's interesting about this question is that John actually gives us a prelude in John chapter 18, verse 2. And in verse 2, John, one of Jesus' closest disciples, the beloved disciple, says, "Judas knew where Jesus was because it was a place that he frequently visited with his disciples." So I want you to imagine this scene. Peter denies Jesus twice. Then he gets asked this question of, "Didn't I see you in the garden?" And I want you to imagine what went through Peter's mind during that. It's got to be a bunch of emotions, a bunch of memories, a bunch of intimate moments where they processed Jesus' sermons and his teachings or the miracles that happened, or they questioned and wanted to know more about explanations of the parables that Jesus would say. They just had a lot of time spent in the garden together as a family unit. And it is in that question that Peter responds by saying, "Nope, I don't know Jesus, never knew him." But the question that we have to ask ourselves during Passion Week is, what is that intimate moment for us? What is that intimate place with Jesus that we frequently visit? Where is that? How does that place or memories of that place make us feel? Jesus had his intimate places with the Father, and in the 4 Gospels, it's called the eremos, the quiet place. The disciples had their intimate place with Jesus, and that was at the garden. And here in our youth ministry at Living Hope, I know that one of the intimate places for our students is at retreats, or even specifically for our fall retreat in our prayer room experiences. But for us today, what is that intimate place that we have these core memories with Jesus that we try and go back to again and again? You see, what I love about Peter's story is that it doesn't end with a memory of the garden, but actually it ends with a memory of his first calling on the shores of the Sea of Galilee. In John chapter 21, Jesus is on the shore, Peter's out fishing again, and Jesus waves his hand and calls out from the lake, and Peter jumps off the boat, swims to Jesus, and then they have that intimate conversation of, "Hey Peter, do you love me? Do you love me? Do you love me?" And Peter just weeps and says, "Of course I love you, Jesus, of course." And it is from that intimate place where everything comes full circle with Peter that Jesus then sends Peter out to go be light in a dark world. So what is the intimate place that Jesus is inviting you into all the time to be with him? What is that intimate place that he wants you to go back to again and again so that he can then send you back out to be his light in a dark world? And it is here on Easter Sunday at Living Hope that we want to invite you to come and explore from darkness to light here at Living Hope on Easter Sunday. Thank you.